Hey guys, it's Jim here from Audiomo, and today's comparison is going to be done a little bit differently than the ones I've done in the past. So the purpose of that intro clip wasn't to exactly compare one guitar to the other in terms of tone, but more so to show that both have their own unique tone, and pickups have a lot to do with it, but they're both very usable tones. Making a video to compare Lindy Fralin blues specials, which are way more vintage style, to Seymour Duncan quarter pounders, that wouldn't exactly be the best comparison, although if you want to use it that way, that's how different they sound. But what I'm really interested in comparing is, what do you get for your money with both? So first, let's start with the American guitar. This is a 52 Reissue Telecaster made in America in the mid-2000s. Used, it's going to run you $1,500 minimum on reverb. And stock, it comes with an ash body to it, a butterscotch finish, big thick U-shaped baseball bat neck, and decent electronics from the factory. Also comes with a hard case, which is something that should be considered when we're talking about price to price. And then the Partscaster. This is a guitar I built myself. It has a Mexican Fender neck on it from a classic 60s. It's got Lindy Fralin pickups in it, Gotaw bridge saddles, all alpha pots in it, really high-end electronics, and a GFS body made of alder. This guitar was less than $500 to build. And needless to say, this guitar did not come with a case as I assembled it myself. Now again, tonally, these are two very different instruments. Part of it's going to have to do with one is made of alder and the other one is made of ash. But mainly, it's going to be the fact that one has the Duncan quarter pounders, which are really over the top, full sounding Telecaster pickups, versus these that have the Fralins in it, and that's a lot more traditional sounding. So if I'm not going to be directly comparing the tones of the guitars to each other, then what's the purpose of this comparison? I really just want to go over the value and the pros and the cons of each. With the 52 reissue, you are paying $1,000 more for it. It does come with a hard shell case, and it does hold its value very close to what you will pay for it because it's a higher end instrument. The Partscaster costs a lot less, but it is important to keep in mind if you're not capable or not confident doing some of the work yourself, there are other costs that will be involved, such as soldering the pickups together, and then also the nut. A lot of people don't consider this when they buy a guitar or they're building a guitar. If the nut isn't already pre-slotted, and not just pre-slotted, but actually to fit a string and a specific string gauge, you're going to get that nut filed. You're going to need to get that nut filed for the guitar to not only stay in tune better, but to make sure the strings don't pop out of the nut while you're playing. Also, the value of one of these on the resale market is not going to be as high. It's not going to hold as much of a value. As they say, when you're building a guitar from scratch, you kind of have to be ready to keep it. Otherwise, you're going to take a loss on it most of the time. So for me and from my perspective, I've played custom shops, I've played high-end American, I've played low-end American, I've played Japanese, I've played Chinese, Indonesian, Mexican Telecasters, and all Fenders. I think that the best way to go forward is to find exactly what you like as far as feel goes first. And when I say that, I'm talking about the neck. To me, the most important thing outside of the electronics in the guitar is the neck, because it's how you're going to connect with the instrument directly. Now the body is also important. You want something that's sturdy, that's made of decent tone woods, and is going to last and not have, a horrible finish on it unless you plan on just destroying it or doing whatever. Some people like to self-relic and, to each their own. But in regards to the neck, I think it's more important to have a neck that you really like that fits your hand and fits your hands and your play style. Once you figure out the neck profile you really like and whether you want 21 or 22 frets, you can decide to get either a Fender neck or, in my opinion, an all parts neck is going to be the best value that you're going to get. A good high quality made in America or Japan neck, brand new from all parts, you can get for under $200, and it's going to do a fantastic job and it's going to feel great in your hands as long as you know exactly what you want. I know things are hard right now when it comes to going out and trying new guitars and really figuring that out because of, the shutdowns and whatnot. But there are still shops open. So try and play as many guitars as you can and really figure out what you prefer in your hands. And don't worry so much about it, because if you do go the Partscaster route, you will save a lot of money and you can get exactly what you want. For example, there's a Mexican Vintage version that's not too dissimilar looking than this, minus the binding. It has Mexican pickups in it. It has this same neck on it, and it has a seafoam green finish. So used, that's still about $700 on Reverb. On top of that, it comes with pickups and electronics that you're going to want to replace. Well, most likely. So where is the additional value when building your own Partscaster, especially if you're already using some Fender parts? Well, for starters, you can get the neck off of a Vintera, like this guitar is, put it to a body of your choice, get the pickups, whatever pickups you want, really high-end pickups, because the ones that come in the Vinteras, the non-modified ones, they are not very great. And there's something that 90% of people that keep the guitars long-term, they will replace trying to get a little bit extra out of the guitar. I would rather have a no-name kind of alder body that's fairly light, going to do exactly what I need. The finish isn't perfect on it, but the tone is there. And more importantly, have exactly what I want as far as the electronics and pickups go, because it's going to have a lot bigger impact on the sound. I feel like if you're somebody who has a little bit of extra money lying around and does want to have something that is going to maintain its value no matter what is going to happen, the American Vintage is a really good route to go. I have an American Vintage Jazzmaster that I will never sell either. But that being said, if you're on a little bit of a budget and you're looking for either a studio weapon or you're looking for something that you can ding up and it's not going to be the end of the world if it gets bruised up, you can get really, really, really killer value that you're simply not going to get at the same price point new or used all authentic Fender. For me, in my particular situation and where I'm at right now, I am ecstatic with my Partscaster. It sounds great, it plays great, it's light, and if it gets dinged, who cares? It's great. But on the other hand, I do have guitars of even higher value than the Telecaster, the 52, and those are fantastic instruments as well. It's just about, you know, seating your priorities where they are. Another thing is what you can do with that extra money. With a $1,500 budget, you could buy the 52 Telecaster and just be done with it. With a $1,500 budget, you could buy this and then a $1,000 amp on top to go with it. It's really, really good value when you look at it like that. Yeah, I just wanted to present, you know, some options and maybe some food for thought for you if you're thinking about buying a Telecaster and weighing out your options. I think you should at least do yourself the favor and consider assembling your own. And that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for your likes, your comments. Please subscribe. The link's right above me here. If you dig what I'm doing, cool. I'm just going to keep doing it anyways, so any help along the way would be much appreciated. Until the next video, guys. See you next time.